What's up, guys? Welcome back to The Rep and Me. Really excited to have a good friend of mine. We've been working together for a couple of years now. Ty from Furman. Ty, thank you for taking time. I will be honest in this. I think this is round 3 for us. We've had some technical difficulties in the past using the wrong platform. So I appreciate your time on this end of it. Before we jump into the school stuff and all the fun facts, do us a favor. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You could talk about how long you've been a rep at Furman, how long you've been at admissions, and any other fun facts you might want to share on that end of it, like favorite color. No, I'm just kidding. But, anything you think is prevalent.
Absolutely. Well, Troy, thank you again. It's great to chat with you. We've been working together for quite some time, and I appreciate your friendship and our partnership in a lot of things. But my name's Ty. I currently work at Furman University as the Senior Assistant Director of Admissions. Here, I oversee our students who live in the Greenville area, as well as our students who come from Texas and Oklahoma as traditional freshmen. I also work with our non-traditional students, so our transfers and our non-degree students who are looking to attend Furman. I've been an admissions representative since 2018, and I've been here at Furman since 2022, so quite a while.
Wow.
In that time, I've kind of done a little bit of everything from social media to working with events and obviously working with students as well. Outside of that, I'm also in the National Guard, so I work with a lot of our military students in looking at that transition from either active duty to coming as a full-time college student, or trying to balance in how college can help them out as a reservist. So that's a little bit about me.
Cool. Love it. Yeah. As someone who made that transition, it is beneficial to have somebody that actually knows what it's like, and that transition from military to college. It's kind of tricky. So
Oh, it is. It's a tricky one. It's
yeah, yeah.
very tricky.
Yes. I feel like it's getting worse, not worse, but like more difficult, or there's, more paper or these kind of things over the years,
A lot
right?
more asterisks now. It's a
That's
little
right.
harder
Yeah.
to do, but
Yeah.
still very doable. Very doable.
Absolutely. 100%. 100%. So Furman is 45 minutes away from us. So we would
Oh,
consider
come
that.
on, with
Yeah.
traffic, maybe, but,
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
say I've gotten to Brazier in, like, 30 minutes before. It just
Okay.
depends on
Okay.
385 and how crazy it
Fair
is.
enough.
So,
Fair enough.
but yeah, 45 minutes away, if you wanna call it that. Private liberal arts university right here in Greenville. I
Yep.
will say we're a stone's throw away from Travelers Rest, and a lot of people get our mailing address mixed up. It is a Greenville address. It is
Yep.
Greenville. And yeah, very much for students in the Greenville area, a close to home college that was originally in downtown Greenville, in a sense,
Mm.
since the 1950s, moved to the north side of town.
That's something I didn't know, that it was originally downtown.
No,
That's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. If you
Yeah.
are walking in Falls Park, right near the Governor's School of Arts and Humanities, there's a
Yep.
plaque. That is where we used to be. Prior to that, we were in Edgefield, South Carolina, and Winsboro, South Carolina. We moved around a few times.
Yep. Yep.
I think we're the 64th oldest university in the United States. So, in
Okay.
that second wave of colleges establishing themselves in the United States.
That's cool. Like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, they say you learn something new every day. That's a fun fact about Furman that I did
Oh,
not know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck
Yeah.
finding our first campus, though. It's like in the middle of the woods. It's like there's a plaque on the side of the road that says Furman used to be here. That's it.
That's it. Yeah. That's cool. Furman is unique. It's a beautiful campus. It is a little bit off of the downtown area, so close enough, but also far enough away. I
Mhm.
did have the pleasure of coming to one of your events a couple years ago, which was fantastic. Tell us a little bit about what students can expect on campus,
Mhm.
whether it be the campus living experience, clubs and activities, just things about that campus environment that I think would be enticing for our students to attend college here.
Sure, sure. So, especially for students who are watching who are from the Greenville area, highly recommend come see campus itself. It'll give you a good idea of what exactly our students are doing on a day-to-day basis. But I would describe our campus as self-contained, quintessential college campus. As you're walking around, I think we're at a little over 750 acres on the main campus and the golf course. It's all kind of tied together. Um, I think actually if you tie in the solar farm, it's like 900 and something, but no one
Wow.
walks over there. It's a solar
Yeah.
farm. Um, but it is very much a green space. You're going to find that all of our buildings have very traditional layouts. Uh, Quintessential college campus is exactly how I describe it.
Yep.
A lot of outdoor activities really close by. If you're a biking or running enthusiast, we're right on the Swamp Rabbit Trail. So great way to come and visit us, especially if you're just traveling to the area. So just hop off the trail, come immediately onto campus, and you can bike around. Many of our students really enjoy that. That quintessential college feel is what many of our students are looking for. Currently, we have about 2,500 students on campus, so there's a lot of space for our students to spread out. The south side of campus is very heavy on our athletics complex, so you'll have our basketball, football, soccer arenas down there. The north side of campus is where many of our upperclassmen live. But I think something that's unique to how we operate is we are fully residential. So unless you are over the age of 25, married, have children, or live in the Greenville area, you're expected to live on campus all 4 years.
Mm.
I think that's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah.
That means that our students who are coming from farther away are experiencing college for 4 years. For our students who live in Greenville, you have the choice to either stay on campus or commute. As long as you have a Greenville address, Greenville County, you're able to do that. So I think it's a cool little perk of being a local student.
Yeah, absolutely. Save a little money, I guess you could say, on the housing piece.
Absolutely.
Everybody's trying to
Absolutely.
save what they can. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you can play around with it too. So if you wanted one semester to stay on campus, the next semester to stay at home, you could. Typically for my Greenville students, I recommend try to stay on campus for a year, that freshman year. And then at that point, if you wanted to transition to a commuting student status, you absolutely could. But there's nothing in on writing saying you have to stay on campus. If you are living in the Greenville area for any of those years, you could commute every single year if you so choose.
Yeah. Well, we both know that freshman year is so important.
Oh yeah.
Establishing yourself on campus, making friends, getting to know a little bit. So if you can get that experience and then decide from there, I'll commute from home. But that freshman year is just, it's key.
Absolutely. And we just renovated all of South Housing. It is probably that is the one place on campus I would want to live
Yeah.
because it just got renovated last year. So brand new rooms, brand new like upholstering for all the furniture. The kitchens are phenomenal. You could have quite a spread if let's say you wanted to host Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner here. We have plenty of oven space for you, plenty of seating. It'd be pretty cool to actually do that with some friends.
That's awesome. That's really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. That living space makes a difference.
Mhm.
Yep. Yep. So you talked about 2,500 students on campus. What is that student to faculty ratio? What does that look like?
Good question. So you're definitely going to get a small classroom experience here. With 2,550 students, we're in the larger side of small. There's definitely smaller schools, but we're not big enough to be considered a medium sized school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Average class size here is about 14. So if you're looking at the full gamut, you'll have classes as small as one. You'll have classes. Typically, they cap out around 30. You really don't see much more than that. Um, Most classrooms only accommodate about 25. So,
Okay.
in the typical high school classroom, that's a little bit smaller than what you're experiencing in high school. But the student to faculty ratio itself is 9 to 1. So, our students, or sorry, 10 to 1, 10 to 1. It's recently it jumped up by one because I think we were right at that 9.4 and we jumped to
Yeah.
9.5. We're like, okay, we got to round up now.
Round it up, right?
Um,
Yeah.
but all the same, it means that our professors, especially when you're looking at classes in your major, are going to know you pretty well. That is something that if you talk to Furman students, are going to tout that. They're going to say that that is what they like about it.
Yeah.
Their professors are engaged in their education. They reach out to them, and they're not just there to check your name off of a roster and say, "Hey, so and so is in class." They develop a connection with their students as they're working with them.
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah. Kind of like that family experience.
Oh yeah.
Uh, yeah.
And when we talk about like finding the right fit for somebody, I typically talk to our students and kind of pitch it as the best of both worlds because the campus itself is large enough where if you want physical space between you and other people, you
Yeah.
absolutely can find that. I can
Yep.
guarantee you for our annual game of tag, there are plenty of places for you to hide out because it's a large campus.
Yep.
And then when you go to a sporting event, you're going to see that you're going to have a lot of involvement because students live on campus all four
Yep.
years. But in the classroom where it matters, you're going to feel a little bit smaller. Each individual student can kind of play with that to their liking. If you want your professors to be very involved in your education, you can make that happen. If you're one of those people who wants to sit in the back in a few classes and not know your professor that well, they might try to get to know you better, but they're going to let that happen too.
Yeah. I think I sat in on a computer science class
Mhm.
when I came, for the visit, and there was maybe 11 kids in that class,
Yeah,
and
it's typical.
yeah, I mean, it was really cool. Professor You could tell the professor knew everybody. It was a very laid back environment, but also engaging, if that makes sense. I mean, everybody
Mhm.
was comfortable. They were relaxed. The professor knew them. You could hear, and they were studying for final exams, is what
Ah,
they were
yes.
doing that time. Yeah, and so it was I don't want to call it a high school feel. But the smallness, I think, brings back to like you're walking into a high school class, but
Mhm.
there was that maturity level, the students, the professor. You kind of saw the best of both worlds with that, which was kind of
Yeah,
neat.
you bring up a good point, Troy, because I think whenever we mention to somebody, "Oh, it's a similar size to your high school classroom," they think, "Oh, it's like my high school classroom." It's not. It's
Yep.
so the onus is very much more on the students, and you can feel that walking in. You have a professor. You don't have GAs here, so no graduate assistants teaching. The professor is going to say, "Hey, your responsibility is this. In this programming class, you've got to develop this thing, and I'm here to help, but ultimately, this is your assignment."
Yep.
And everyone has up to that point, whether it's a freshman class or a senior class, they've already built up that understanding that, yes, this is my responsibility.
Yep.
Um, and that passion is something that you see when they show up. They're passionate about the subject. They're going to reach out when they need help from the professor, and the professors can have a wealth of knowledge.
Yep.
Um, but it's not the same thing as showing up for intro to typing that you might have experienced in ninth grade or
Right.
eighth grade.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Looking at those clubs and activities,
Mhm.
which is really cool. There's also a unique aspect to Furman being a D1 school.
Mhm.
Correct me if I'm wrong. All of your sports are pretty much D1. Is that
All of them.
correct?
Yeah, all 18. So we have 18 different Division I sports. Some notable ones from this year. Soccer did phenomenal this fall.
Yeah.
They went really far into the NCAA tournament.
They were so
Um,
close.
so
So
close.
close. Yep.
You know what? I'm impressed with the work that Coach Allison put into the team. He just retired, but the team's in a really good spot with some young talent that's going to be great for the next couple of years. Football had a decent year.
Yep. Yep.
Competing in the SoCon can be difficult because if you're following the mid-major Division I teams in football, especially, the two conferences that typically pull some really great talent are going to be Big Sky and
Yep.
SoCon.
Yep.
SoCon and Big Sky are like I trust me, I would want to play in Big Sky because there's a lot of powerhouses for football there. But SoCon creates some really great programs out of it, and I'm really looking forward to next year with football. I think we'll have
Yep.
some good talent. Um, and then basketball this year, man, another March Madness appearance, I'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lost to SoCon, but we put in a good fight against them, and they're continuing to do well in the tournament. So I'll take that. That's a good place to be as a Division I program. And then if you are looking at our other involvements there, I think having a golf course on campus, and we've talked about this. Come
Yeah.
on, that's a great
Yeah.
golf course to have.
Oh, it is.
And for students, this is including the cost of attendance. So if you're a student who likes golf, or if you're interested, go grab some clubs. I believe it's still Monday through Thursday, including your cost of attendance. As long as you're not using a cart, you can go out there and play 9 or 18 holes. So
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's a cool aspect of that student organizations because yes, we have student athletes, but we also have a lot of support for those student athletes. Um, Greek life is an interesting one here too. With a lot of Southern colleges, you're going to see a big emphasis on everyone joins a Greek organization. I shouldn't say everyone, a lot of people join.
Sure.
I think we're floating around 33% right now. So it's
Okay.
it's a substantial enough portion of the
Yep.
population. What is that, like 800 students ish? But not everyone. So
Yep.
you're getting a lot of that community by just being a residential college. But if you want it to be more tight knit, and you want an organization like a fraternity or a sorority, I
Yep.
think typically our women gravitate towards it a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think they're closer to like 45-ish%, and then the men are a little bit lower. But we do see a lot of interest in that, especially come spring semester since we have a deferred rush process there. Um, and then I think one of my favorite organizations, I don't know how big you are into hiking, but FUOC is a very popular one here. Furman University's Outdoors Club. They
Okay.
are the, being in the upstate, come on, there's so
Yeah.
many great
Yeah.
hiking
I mean, you're
spots.
so close to every, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. It's kind of an offshoot, or it's not an offshoot. It has multiple offshoots because you have certain groups that want to go kayaking and whitewater rafting. You have other groups that want to hike, other groups that want to backpack. I haven't heard anyone who wants to go hunting yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if that fell
Sure.
under UWOC. Um, and being a part of an organization like that, the university helps fund your trips. So there's funding at the university level that is going to be able to get you that backpacking equipment so that you don't have to own it. Same thing if you are looking to go whitewater rafting, you don't have to find a raft. You just got to find a guide and make sure that
Yeah.
the budget allows for you to go whitewater rafting. So,
Right. No, it's awesome. Yeah. It's such a perfect location for anything like that. I mean,
mhm,
you're minutes away from whitewater rafting, minutes away from hiking, some pretty cool trails. I mean, I went to school on the other side of the mountain in East
mhm.
Tennessee, and so both sides of it. You got your whitewaters, not whitewater rafting. That's what I said, but your waterfalls. I'm gonna say three things, right?
I know, right?
Just yeah, but a really, really pretty area of the country to be in, and a lot of opportunities
A
to do
lot of
so.
people don't realize we're like minutes away from one of the only rainforests in the United States. The only other one that I'm aware of is going to be over in Pacific Northwest. But just across the border in North Carolina, you get deciduous rainforest. Um,
Okay,
so another one that I think might be interesting, Troy, for our not necessarily just our outdoor enthusiasts, but like our folks who might be interested in being outdoors. You've got the astronomy club, which sounds kind of nerdy. We have a observatory here on campus,
okay,
but we are in a great spot in the country if you want to go out to some of these far off areas of Greenville County, just across the border in North Carolina, where you can stargaze and you can actually see like a full sky of stars. So they'll do cookouts at night. So they'll grill out
that's
in some random. It's usually like a weird offshoot road that you're trying to get as far away from any of like civilization and
yep,
ambient light. But they'll go out there, they'll grill out, they'll wait until sunset, they'll hang out there, and then they'll drive back when they're good and ready. But I think that's a unique experience that you can get by staying in this area of the
yeah,
country. You can get that out west too, but you move to certain parts of South Carolina, North Carolina, you're not going to be able to see that.
correct, correct. No, you're talking to the guy who took astronomy in college, so
There
I
you go.
loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we talk a bit about being deployed. When I was at North Airfield,
Mhm.
I took astronomy, and so very similar, just not the prettiness of the mountains, but same thing, stargazing, looking at all the different things at night, which was pretty cool. So no, that's fantastic.
And most civilians can't just go out to North Airfield and start stargazing. There might be
No, they
some
can't.
questions asked. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah. You're not far from Slippery Rock, right?
no,
That's in
not at
North
all.
Carolina?
Not at all.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you're looking at, and a lot of people will gravitate, if you're looking really close for outdoorsy type stuff, Paris Mountain, that's like
yep,
10 minutes. If you're looking for something a little bit farther away, I personally recommend, and students, this is something that you can get involved with now if you're interested, the Foothills Trail
mm,
snakes across the North Carolina, South Carolina border. Um, and it starts just north of us. It's up near Caesar's Head. So it's like 77 miles of total trail. But you can get involved with that. You can go hike that in any chance. But having a group where you can go as a group on a weekend, that's just you
yeah,
can't beat that. It's hard
no,
to find a group of people who want to do something like that, and a
yeah,
club like that's a great intro to that. Um, and I know we've been talking about like outdoorsy type stuff. I think we do music very well. So students who want to do music, they can do that. We've got a board games club. I recently got into some D&D action with some of my friends. If you wanted to do that here, you absolutely could. And
yeah,
then every club sport that you could possibly want or intramural. Flag football is a popular one right now just because the weather's nice. Why not go
yeah,
outside and play a couple rounds of that? So
yeah, yeah. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm going to move to a topic of interest for a lot of families, a lot of our students. I would say this generation is very conscious of student debt. A
absolutely.
lot of times
Yeah.
we have that conversation about, I don't want to go into debt. I don't want to pay a lot of money. So we have this, what is the cost of tuition? What is the overall cost of attending? You've got your tuition, your room and board, all
Mhm.
those things. And then everybody wants to know about that S word. We call it scholarships. So
Scholarships are a big one.
every
Yeah.
yes, yes. So they're asking about a lot of those things. Now I do know that Furman has some really good opportunities. Do you mind talking about the tuition piece of it along with the scholarship side of it?
Absolutely. So I'm looking at one of my resources. It's a live resource, so I figured I might as well pull it up live.
Yep,
Um, we'll start with big sticker price, and we'll kind of work our way down there. So,
yep,
as a private institution, like many other private colleges, you're going to see a higher sticker price to start, a higher cost of attendance because we are not subsidized by the state government. So we do not
right.
have state funding to subsidize what we cost. On the back end, that means that we have a lot of flexibility in what we're able to award students. So fun facts: the state actually dictates how much you can offer students in state versus out of state in
Okay.
terms of scholarships. As a private institution, we don't have the state of South Carolina can't tell us how much we offer. So the range that we offer for scholarships is quite large. Everything from $0 to the full cost of attendance. Not for this upcoming year, for this current year, $78,608 per year is what you would be assessed for tuition, fees, room and board. That's everything. So
Yep.
78,000 for everything that you could be charged at Furman. Now, once we start taking out scholarships, great things to talk about here. If you're watching this and you attend Brazier Middle College, you are going to have most likely South Carolina residency. So that means that
Yep.
you can get your South Carolina State scholarships. So the Hope, Life, and Palmetto Fellow scholarships will all track with you here to Furman. So anywhere from what is it, $2,800 now for Hope? What are we at? Can't remember.
Yeah.
200.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the way up to 7,500 with the life extension. It's like $10,000 that you could potentially receive from state
Correct. Correct.
scholarship.
Your STEM. Yeah. Yep.
That comes with you, in addition to our scholarships. Now, when we look at ours, mentioned already, they range a lot. The biggest piece of advice that I have for competing for those scholarships is making sure you maintain your grades. Maintaining your
Yep.
grades is that's the key. It's the secret sauce.
Yep.
It's really not that secret. Your parents are probably telling you to keep your grades up. Troy, I know you're telling them to keep their grades up.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Grades are the number one thing.
Yep.
Um, we offer a few full cost of attendance scholarships. I, I hate the term full ride. A
Yeah.
lot of people will use it
Yep.
because in my mind it implies that you're just riding the wave. You're just I
Yeah.
can do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
No, you're still working.
Yeah.
You're putting in work, and you put in work to get there too, for sure. So um, with those, there's two in particular. You've got the Duke Scholarship, which is named after the James B. Duke Foundation.
Okay.
Um, Furman is a part of the Duke Foundation, along with a few other colleges that provides really great funding for students. And then the Joseph A. Bond Scholarship, but that's also a full cost of attendance scholarship. There's a few others like weird ones out there. We typically across those will offer like 8 to 10 per year. So especially for our high academic achieving students, that's really what these are geared towards. Bond is exclusively students in South Carolina. Duke is students from all across the country and technically internationally as well. It's rare that they're international. Usually they're domestic, but if you're not receiving one of those, totally fine. There's plenty of other scholarships out there. The big ones for our local students is going to be the Hollingsworth Scholarship, which is named after John D. Hollingsworth,
Okay.
a notable business person in the Greenville area. But that's a great award that also gets students entrance to the Community of Scholars, which is kind of like Furman's equivalent of an honors college.
Okay.
Don't have an honors college. It's the closest thing to it. It's a
Yep.
cohort of students who are the highest achieving students in a class that have a lot of potential for leadership, and we want to foster that leadership. So they participate in some free summer programming with that. I shouldn't say
Cool.
free, including your cost of attendance summer
Yeah.
program.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
but that's a cool option. And then you also have the Bell Tower Scholarship, which is a award that varies. It varies a lot, but it
Okay.
is typically anything from like $15,000 up to $35,000, everything in between. So um, that's not including your talent-based scholarships at all. Like we're not talking Division
Yep.
One sports because those also
Yep.
offer scholarships. If you have any music students, music's great for that. They
Yep.
offer scholarships on top of everything else we talked about. Athletics and ROTC are a little different. The other one
Sure.
being ROTC, they have scholarships. They don't necessarily agree with the academic scholarships, but whichever one you get that's higher, you
Okay.
get to use. That was kind of helpful there. And then that's not even talking about your institutional grants and your federal funding sources. Those
Yep.
do exist too.
Yep.
So it's you can kind of use the mixture of all of these to make Furman affordable.
Yep.
And this isn't even adding in like what we talked about earlier, looking to stay at home and reducing that cost of attendance by removing room and food costs. You don't have to worry about that if you're living at home. The other piece that I think is a little bit interesting for your students in particular, and the live reference I wanted to look at was transfer credits and
Yep.
looking at shortening your time in college, because that is something that you can do, or you can cater your time so that you can double major, triple major, or get a little bit more involved with some of these other programs. Um, I'm looking at Greenville Technical College on my transfer equivalencies piece. It's on our website. I can scroll for pages and pages and see class after class that does transfer to Furman.
Nice.
So if anyone's interested, you can find it on our website. Just look up Furman transfer equivalencies. That's kind of an unspoken benefit of looking at a school that focuses on dual enrollment. You
Right.
could knock out some credits.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
Maybe take a semester or a year off of your time.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, I love that. That's one of the questions that we get asked when we do our IGPs all the time is the transfer side of it and how many
Oh
credits
yeah.
to take and those kind of things, which is fantastic.
Now
Uh,
the big thing to
but
remember though, while you are transferring credits, you're not a transfer student. That's a big like
yes,
it
that is
gets
huge.
conflated all the time.
Yep. Yes, it does.
We do that for a couple of reasons. One, transfer students typically don't get the full range of scholarships that our freshmen do, so we keep Brazier students as freshmen so that
Yep.
you get the full range. And then we want to make sure that we're housing you with students of similar
Yep.
experience, right? So I don't want just because you come in as a junior, I don't want you to house with people who've been here for 2 years. Prefer for you to house with people who are of similar life experience. That
Yep.
way you
Yep.
can grow together in that way.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love it. I love it. In the last couple of minutes, I'm going to ask about majors in the application.
Oh
There's
yeah.
two last questions. So, majors. Now, I know you have a plethora of majors. So, if you
Yes.
can give me top two, three. I mean, nothing. We don't need to go down the list of all of them,
Yeah.
but if you were
Well, I
saying,
can't. There's
yeah,
75. I can't do
there's
all.
so much. Right,
Um,
right. Which is awesome for a small school to have that
oh
many.
yeah. Um,
Fantastic, but, give me your top 2 or 3 that you would say,
sure.
most people are looking at or a lot of people are looking at, if you will.
Absolutely. So when we're talking about 75 majors, minors, and areas of study, so it's like a mixture.
Yep,
Um, I would say for students who are looking at our academic profile, the pre-law and pre-med type majors, so things like biology, chemistry, history, English, those are very popular among
yep,
our students because we see a lot of students going off into those professional schools after attending Furman. It's a fairly high percentage are looking to do that. Um, I would say that past that, you've got a great music program. So if you're looking at anything in the sciences, if you're thinking about applying for something like a law program, or if you're thinking about music as a profession, I think we do a great job in all of those areas. And that's really selling us short because there's plenty of majors that I think do a great job.
yeah, yeah,
But we're only going to name 3 areas. Those are the 3 areas
yeah,
I would
yeah.
name.
No,
As
no, no, and I mean,
local, yeah, quintessential Furman.
I know, I don't think there's a bad major there, so you could spend an hour talking about all the majors as it is, just kinda highlighting a couple of those, I think gives them a good perspective
Oh
of
yeah.
what that looks like. Yeah, yeah. Wrapping this up, last question, and here again, probably another one of those important questions. What are some key aspects of the application that you look at? What are some areas that our students really need to focus on when they are applying, especially to, I mean, obviously to Furman. So what do you guys look at?
Absolutely. So thinking about like where you are when you're applying, students as juniors going into senior year are filling out the application. So your grades you really can't do too much about. If you're a senior watching this, I hope you've done well.
Yeah.
That's all I can really say. But if
Yep.
you're a junior or sophomore or freshman or younger, your grades are incredibly important. Like that is the number one thing that I look at and can help determine a student being admitted to the university. I think right now we're floating around 43% admit rate, somewhere around
Okay.
there. So I'd
Okay.
consider selective. We're not going to be hyper selective, but we are looking for students who are academically achieving what they need to achieve. Um, when you're actually sitting down and filling out the application, the things that I 100% recommend, do not skip, put in the energy, are the resume,
Yep.
which is, it's an activities piece. I wouldn't call it a resume. You can turn it into that. That's fine. But we want to see what you're involved in. Shouldn't take too long. You've got 10 topics that you can add in there and just tell us what you're doing. And then the essay. That essay is something that we do look at. I can
Mm.
tell you that with our applications, I can pretty much guarantee at least two people, I can say pretty confidently, two people are going to see your application at minimum. And sometimes it's upwards of five, six, seven, eight, nine, maybe 10.
Wow.
People will look at your application. So there's a lot of eyes. That qualitative aspect of an essay is something that is hard to describe in the same way that we describe a GPA, but we can glean a lot of information based on a student's writing style, what they're writing about, how polished it is. And while it's rare that we make an admissions decision based solely off of an essay, it augments and it tells the complete story when we put that next to the grades.
Yeah.
Um, and
Yeah.
I personally like seeing that because I can see full circle. Hey, the student has a very high science grade score across all years. They're also super interested in science because they want to be a science major. They
Yep.
also wrote about science. This is a student that I think would be very good in a strong
Yep.
science program like the one they're applying for,
Yep.
versus a student who took 5 minutes on the essay, maybe a
Right.
paragraph,
Right.
um, shows main hand. Maybe the student's not thinking too much about this college. They might not be thinking about us too hard, or maybe they're rushed. There's a couple different reasons, but we try to take everything that's provided in that application and put context to it, and then tell
Yep.
a complete story. So I think it's a good way as a student to think about it. Imagine someone's going to read from top to bottom. What are they going to think in terms of your interests, your passion, your ability to be successful?
Yeah. No, I love it. That's good. That it gives some good insight. We've been focusing a lot on the personal essay, trying
Mhm.
to get students to really put some time in. Firsthand by coming here. So
Oh
thanks
yeah,
again for your time and attention. I know our students that attended that were very gracious of it, but also I think there've been a lot of conversations since then about what that essay looks like.
oh yeah.
So
We had
yeah,
some great conversations as a part of that, and I hope we can do that again,
yeah,
with juniors who are coming into their rising senior status, because that's always going to be the question: how do you
yep,
craft it? How do you
yep.
do it? Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. No, no, no. We're gonna plan that next one here soon. Speaking of medical clubs, I do have a medical club that is meeting in 7 minutes, which is awesome. New
Ah,
medical club is great.
nice.
Something I can mention Furman as we're talking to those students. Ty, I really appreciate your time. It's very uh, uh, helpful to have a friend in a relationship that we can talk about this, and it's easy. I know our students benefit from you pouring into our campus. It's very, very helpful on that end of it. So I appreciate your time and attention to that. And especially today, just kind of talking to our students about what Furman has, what they have to offer and the advantages of attending a school like Furman.
Absolutely, Troy. It's always a pleasure, man. Always a pleasure. We'll
Yeah.
continue to chat and continue to partner, and I look forward to stopping by next time too.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks, Ty. I appreciate it.